First. It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS 101.1 FM and AM 1160. When we have issues of mental health to discuss here on Indiana in the Morning, it's usually with Dr. Ralph, whatever your name is, Dr. Ralph May. There's something Freudian going on there. Ralph
really
May.
Is. You're blocking on my name. That's not a good sign.
The Community Guidance Center. Marcus and Mack, a law firm representing injured people, helping to lead us with this discussion this morning. Dr. May, good morning.
Good morning, Todd. Thanks for having me.
It's good to have you with us here. The vaccine anxiety, I want to approach this from two angles. First of all, is it out there? Is there such a thing as vaccine anxiety, and is it any different from any other type of anxiety that we might be feeling during this pandemic?
Well, vaccine anxiety. I don't know that I like the term vaccine anxiety. I think this is an extension of COVID anxiety, an extension of the pressures we've been all under while the virus has been attacking us during this pandemic. I think what this is the best metaphor I can come up with, Todd, is you and I are both runners. I used to race when I was younger. Now I barely can run, but you know, I'd run 20K, which is 12.4 miles. Well, you'd get to about the 12-mile mark, and you could start to see the finish line. And when you could start to see the finish line, you actually there's a mixed set of feelings. Say, oh boy, the finish line, but oh my God, I don't have a lot left of the tank. It's this is a long way. I don't know that I can make it. I might trip. I might fall. So you start to become nervous about seeing that there's an end. There's an end point. The vaccine represents the end point. If everybody gets the vaccination, enough people get vaccinated, we can get COVID down. We can defeat this thing. We can get back to not the new normal, but normal. And so when you're in the middle of it, you're more fighting just to get through each day. But now it's like, oh boy, we can see the end point. Now how do we get there? Well, we got to get this vaccine. Well, I want to get the vaccine. Well, it's not available. Where do we get it? How do we get it? So again, it's the one, we can see the end point, but it's still a little bit of a distance, and we have to get the vaccine to get there. And so the information about how the vaccine's coming, who's going to get the vaccine first, the dissemination process, which has not really gone very well, this amplifies that sense of, I can see the finish line, but it's going to be hard to get there. And so it almost is a different kind of anxiety. It's like that anticipation that we can finally get through this, but can we? Will we? How long will it take? It creates that whole set of new conflicts in this long pandemic.
There are a couple of fears that are pretty easily identifiable. One, the fear that you're going to be left out on this vaccine. You're going to get COVID before you get the vaccine. And the second fear is, what will be the side effects? What are the risks that I'm taking by getting the vaccine? Let's start with that first one. I'm going to get left out. I'll get the COVID beforehand.
Well, there's a realistic fear about that, isn't there? Because COVID is still spreading. It's a significant issue. There are no variants that can spread more quickly, not necessarily more deadly or more serious, but they can spread more quickly. And so there's this message. We're getting two messages, aren't we? We're getting this message that COVID's really, really the worst it's ever been. It's spreading faster. There's these new mutations of the virus. Yet the vaccine is still, not there. I'm going to be left out. Is everybody else going to get it first? Who's going to get it? When am I going to get it? Mm-hmm. And there hasn't been, and I'm not going to fault anyone in particular, but there hasn't been a really good plan here. There's really not a really good plan. And it's kind of disappointing because after 9/11, we had worked very hard with PEMA and FEMA to set up dissemination of, if there were ever a biological attack, to disseminate medicine and disseminate vaccines. And it seems like that hasn't happened like it should have. So there is a legitimate, am I going to get left out? I do not believe anyone will be left out. The problem is it's going to take time. And the more time it takes, the more anxiety there is about, I might get the virus in the meantime. So that's why your hearing mitigation is so important. Now you got to double down on masking. Now you got to make sure you maintain social distancing. Don't drop the safeguards that we've already had in place. So that's going to be really, really important. I do believe there will be, from what I'm reading in the literature, there will be sufficient doses. Everybody will have their opportunity. But it may take several months yet to reach everybody.
Yeah, and here in 2021, we're a much more we want it now society than we were back in 2001. So yeah.
Right. We want it now, and we want to take care of ourselves. And I also want to point out that we talked about this before about the pandemic. These kind of stressors bring out the best and worst in people, don't they?
Yeah.
There are the people that will say, no, I want the people who really need it to get it first. I can wait. I'll weather it out. Let the people who really need it. And then there are other people. It's like, I want to cut the line. I need to get first. I need to be first. I'm afraid. So we need to search our own selves
Yeah.
about how we want to respond to this. How do we want to see ourselves? The virus teaches us something about ourselves, how we handle extreme stress and change. And I think it's important we learn some of those lessons about ourselves.
Second fear is the fear that there will be side effects and risks. And, you hear the stories, and there are only 2 or 3 out of thousands and thousands of doses, but they're enough to trigger just a little bit of fear within us that with something so new and something so dangerous as COVID out there, that we might be putting ourselves at risk by actually getting the vaccine.
Well, and any medication, even over-the-counter medications like aspirin, Tylenol, have significant side effects in the general population. If you really looked at the number of people that have side effects of those medicines, it's probably more than we've seen in the COVID vaccine reactions. But people still, I got this bad headache, I need to take ibuprofen, I need to take acetaminophen. So, it's a trade-off, isn't it? It's the risk of getting sick from the virus, and it's the risk of side effects, which, honestly, I've been looking at the information, and there's a cluster with the Moderna vaccine in Southern California. One place looks like maybe they didn't handle the vaccine right, and there may be some side effects there. But if you look overall at the side effect, the number of people who have side effects from this, it's really below what you would even expect from a newly released medication for an antibiotic. Or, I mean, if you watch television now and you listen to medication advertisements, they list out every possible single side effect that a person's ever had. So if you listen to the side effects, you'd never take anything. It's like, oh, my God, this can cause me to grow 2 heads. And so you have to balance the risk and benefit of the vaccine. Right now, everything I'm reading, I'm going to be, as soon as I'm up, as soon as my time comes, I'm getting it. I'm going to get it. And my family's going to get it because I've looked at it. I've looked at the science. I'm convinced that the side effect profile is incredibly benign compared to the benefits that we can receive from this.
Yeah, you wonder about those commercials on TV, whether they insulate us against those side effects or they alarm us. But it does point out the fact that everybody reacts to information in different ways and to lack of information in different ways. So what are some of the things we can do if we're feeling anxiety one way or the other through the pandemic, through the various issues of it, through the vaccine, for any of those things? What are some techniques or resources available to us to deal with the anxieties that are so acute here during this very uncertain time?
Well, there are certain things that we can do ourselves, right? We can recognize this for what it is, which is anxiety. It's fear. And we can't let fear drive our decision-making. We have to have honest information, and then honest information is we have to make sure we get good information. We don't listen to sort of the fringe on the left, the fringe on the right, but more right down the middle in terms of what is this about? What is the right information? Good information helps us with anxiety because it helps us plan effectively. It helps us know what to do. And in the absence of good information, what you don't want to do is make things up. People are afraid, make things up, and that becomes really not a good thing. So the most important thing to do is first, take a deep breath. Evaluate what you're thinking. Evaluate how you're reacting, and slow yourself down. Don't let yourself get wired up into the panic of anxiety because, first of all, that causes you to make bad decisions. Nobody ever makes good decisions when they're panic-stricken. Trust me, I've been a psychologist for a long time. Nobody makes good decisions when they're panic-stricken. So slow yourself down, calm yourself down, gain support. Talk to people. Don't let yourself become isolated. Talk to people who, you can share with, you can express your feelings to, allowing some of that decompression. So don't get so isolated in yourself, whether it's online, whether it's physically distant, I prefer to say socially distant. Connect. Don't let yourself be trapped in your own anxiety. Then if that's not enough, you need to seek professional help. The counseling services in Indiana are tremendous, and they're available everywhere. Of course, I know the Guidance Center very well because I've been there so many years, and we have the hotline, the 24-hour hotline that we built years ago, the 1-877-333-2470 number, which you can call 2 in the morning. You don't have to give your name, and somebody will just talk to you so you can get that decompression. If you need professional assistance, the Guidance Center's there. We have walk-ins still, and we're doing remote stuff. So if you're afraid to leave your house because of COVID or physical issues, we do online or on phone therapy. So you've got professional resources available to you if you feel like it's too much. So we've got one of the things we can do is reassure one another. There's a lot of resources here in Indiana County. We're very blessed. And people don't even know about those resources or are afraid to use them. Use them. Don't be afraid. And you can use them confidentially. You can use them without even giving your name. Use them. And so you can decompress that pressure. I think that's the main point, Todd, is that all this anxiety and pressure builds up within us, and we have to not allow it to kind of be kind of stifled down inside of us. We need to reach out. We need to communicate. If you're a person of faith, this is where you need to reacquaint yourself with your faith, because faith leads to endurance. So you can get through things when you have a strong a sense that it's all going to be okay at the end point, and it will be okay at the end point. I'm convinced of that. So how we talk to ourselves is very important in this process. Yeah. Don't let yourself become your own worst enemy. And if you need more, reach out because the help is available.
Absolutely. Hey, if I can turn this conversation in an entirely different direction for just a moment with you, and I don't know that you have a whole lot of time left. I know we've got
I'm good as long as you need me.
We have the Sports Minute coming up here in a second. But tomorrow, Inauguration Day, all of the tensions that are associated with it and all of the potential that we're being told is out there for there to be some sort of catastrophic event. We're all praying that everything goes smoothly and that our country can settle back into some sense of whatever normal is. But there are certainly people who are very, very concerned about what's going on. I would assume that most of those techniques and methods you told us for dealing with that sort of stress would apply to that situation as well.
They're very general. We have to remember that have faith in our Constitution, have faith in our process. We are a strong people. We have an ability to be very resilient. And we will come through this COVID. We will come through the political forces that have impacted us, the violence, the frustration that people are feeling. The truth be told is if each one of us can do that, we wouldn't be in the position that we're in right now, right? If we could, each one of us could take a step back, take a deep breath, remember we're all in this together, we wouldn't be in this position we're in right now. So I think it starts with each one of us.
Beautifully put. Dr. Ralph May, thank you so much for being with us. Next time you're on with us, I promise not to forget your name.
Oh, that's all right, Todd. People forget my name all the time. It doesn't send me away anywhere. So.
and I'll have a racing story to tell you sometime when we're talking off the air, too, that I think you'd enjoy. All right.
Okay.
Dr. May, thanks so much. Have a great day today.
You too, Todd. See you. You too, Todd. See you.